Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new hero being added to the Lightbearer faction, Sonja, the ruler of the Underworld. Now, this hero wears agility-based gear and is part of the tank faction, and her primary role is to provide buffs and damage for your allies. So let's have a look at this hero's abilities. The ultimate skill, Gold Roses. Sonja gifts all allied heroes a gold rose. All allies with a gold rose receive 50% less damage the following 5 times they are dealt damage, and the attacking source loses health equal to 80% of Sonja's attack rating. If an ally already has a gold rose, the number of times it is effective is reset. Each gold rose can reduce damage up to 5 times. Allies with a gold rose receive 60% less damage the following 5 times. The level 2 upgrade and the level 3 upgrade, the attacking source loses health equal to 90% of Sonja's attack rating. So her next ability, Glimmering Brilliance, is a passive. When Sonja is not in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, she does not use her normal attacks, but instead periodically recovers energy. When Sonja is not in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, the damage she receives from enemies is reduced by 20%, and the attacking source loses health equal to 70% of Sonja's attack rating. This effect can only be triggered once per second. When Sonja's health falls below 60% for the first time, she enters a state of Glimmering Brilliance for 25 seconds. When in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, Sonja recovers 2% of her max health per second for each rose of any color that is currently on the battlefield, and can recover up to 12% per second. When Sonja is not in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, the damage she receives from enemies is reduced by 25%. The next upgrade, when Sonja is not in the state of Glimmering Brilliance, the attacking source loses health equal to 80% of Sonja's attack rating. The level 4, when in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, Sonja recovers 2.5% of her max health per second for each rose of any color that is currently on the battlefield, and can recover up to 15% of her max health per second, and this can last for 25 seconds. So her next ability, Dark Vines. Sonja places a black rose where the most injured enemy is located. That deals 180% of Sonja's attack rating as AoE to nearby enemies. After the black rose deals damage 3 times, the most injured ally receives a shield that exists for 8 seconds and has a value equal to the damage dealt by the black rose, or at least 220% of Sonja's attack rating. The level 2, the black rose deals 200% up from 180 as attack rating as AoE damage to nearby enemies. The level 3, the black rose deals 220 as AoE damage up from 180%. And the final upgrade, or 30 engravings. Sonja and the most injured ally receive a shield that has a value equal to the damage dealt by the black rose. So this essentially allows 2 shields instead of 1. The next ability, Blood Rose. Sonja gifts the most injured enemy hero a red rose that causes them to additionally lose health equal to 70% of Sonja's attack rating for the following 5 times they suffer damage. After which, Sonja reclaims the red rose. When Sonja reclaims the red rose, if the enemy is still alive, they will lose 8% of their max health, but the value cannot exceed 240% of Sonja's attack rating. And Sonja shall recover an amount of health equal to the health lost by the enemy. If Sonja is in a state of Glimmering Brilliance, the amount of health she recovers from the skill is multiplied by 2. The skill prioritizes the enemies that have yet to possess a red rose. Enemies additionally lose health equal to 90% for the following 5 times they suffer damage. The next upgrade, if an enemy is still alive when Sonja reclaims the red rose, they will lose 10% of their max health, but the value cannot exceed 300% of Sonja's attack rating. The 2 most injured enemies are gifted a red rose. This is the 60 engravings. So this essentially increases the amount of healing that she can get from dealing damage to the enemies. And this also increases the amount of damage she does to the enemies. So let's have a look at her signature item. So her signature item upgrades. Thorned Aura. When Sonja uses her ultimate skill, allies with gold roses are gifted a Thorned Aura which deals 110% of Sonja's attack rating as AoE damage every second to nearby enemies. So we can see that the gold roses last for 5 times, or the duration of 5 times. They are dealt damage. So this is a pretty significant duration that will be able for Sonja to be dealing damage to the enemies. The next 10 upgrade, the Thorned Aura allows the ally using it to recover health equal to 100% of Sonja's attack rating every second. Every time the Thorned Aura deals damage, the ally using it recovers an additional amount of health equal to 60% of the damage dealt. The 20 upgrade, allies with the Thorned Aura deal 130% of Sonja's attack rating as AoE damage every second to nearby enemies. And the final upgrade, the 30 upgrade, when 2 or more enemies are within range of the Thorned Aura, the amount of health the ally using it recovers is increased to 80%. So let's have a look at the furniture for this hero. So the 3 furniture unlock Thorned Fervor. Every time an ally who possesses a gold rose, this is the damage reduction rose, suffers from an enemy control effect, the effects of the gold rose are extended by 1 time. This effect can only be triggered by each ally once every 5 seconds. At the start of battle, the 3 backline allies are gifted gold roses from the skill gold roses. They can be used 3 times. So this essentially allows her to get all of her buffs and damage reduction going as soon as she enters battle. So let's have a look at how she works in game and how she's able to deal with enemies. Now, as she is a tank, it will be a good idea to essentially place her on the front row. However, because she uses her ranged abilities, she essentially does not move into the front row. However, she can act as a tank if you place her on the front line. Now, as you can see, there's the aura placed around your ally, the shield that protects them from damage. Now, additionally, we can see that the most injured enemy will be gifted a red rose, and they will essentially do AoE damage. And as you can see at the final end, they will tick and a large amount of damage will be dealt to nearby enemies. There we go, another red rose. It explodes and deals AoE damage to all nearby enemies. So let's have a look at her ultimate skill. So when she uses her ultimate, she provides 5 gold roses to every single ally. Now these gold roses are extremely powerful, as each attack that is dealt to your ally, that damage is reduced by 60%. This can be reduced a total amount of 5 times. However, she can permanently refresh this throughout the entire duration of the battle. So let's have a look at enemies of similar level. So I've set up the team over here, and let's have a look at how she does in battle. Now, as you can see, I've placed her on the back row, so all allies on the back row gain 3 red roses. This essentially gives them a significant amount of damage reduction. Now, as we can see, she gains a shield and also provides a shield to one of her allies as well. So let's have a look at the damage output. Now, even though she was a tank, she still managed to do the most amount of damage. In addition, she also did a bit of healing for herself. So let's have a look at a much higher deficit and how she performs. So this is a level 561 level deficit. So in this first battle, we can see that she's placed behind Arthur, who's an extremely sturdy tank. And as we can see, she immediately starts off with the red rose that is placed on top of the enemy that explodes and deals AoE damage to all enemies. Now, as you can see, those are the 2 shields that she can provide. So she'll be extremely effective with any allies that use shields or improve, or you gain certain buffs when your allies have shields, such as Helios. Now, in addition, she also gains a significant amount of energy. Sometimes she can immediately gain a full bar of energy when she is in her specific passive aura state. And because she can deal a significant amount of damage because of a thorned aura, there we go, we can see the thorned aura around her allies. And also the damage reduction is constantly refreshed around all her allies. So she'll be extremely powerful as a front row or even a back row ally, as she can provide multiple buffs for your allies, both damage reduction, a lot of damage, and she can provide a lot of mitigation for your allies to be able to deal all the damage. So as we can see here, even though she's a tank, she still managed to do a significant amount of damage and provide a significant amount of healing for herself and allies. So let's have a look at another battle. So this is a team where she will strongly benefit from Helios's passives. Each time any of the team gains a shield, they will gain certain buffs from Helios. So as we can see here, there are two enemies with the red rose on top of their heads, and each time they are doing damage, they'll also be dealing damage to themselves. As we can see there, this damage explodes and does damage to nearby enemies. However, the thing that will provide a lot of effectiveness from her is the damage reduction that she provides. That 60% is a significant amount. Essentially, you can replace one of your front row allies for her, and she'll do extremely well due to the damage reduction that she provides. The minimum investment that I think that she'll work extremely well will be at 30 signature item, 9 furniture, and 30 engravings. This will allow her to do a significant amount of damage and provide all the necessary buffs for your allies in order to deal the damage and be able to claim victory over your enemies.